Hey, what's up Mazda fans? Today I'm going to try and make this a quick video and just tackle the dreaded EGR valve. I've been having some problems in my car, and I've pretty much knocked out everything that I can think of. I got new O2 sensors in, I got a new speed sensor, I cleaned the MAF, I cleaned the IAC, cleaned the throttle body. I mean, the only thing left to do would be like change spark plugs and coils and do the EGR. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out. The location of it is right underneath your intake manifold, so you're gonna want to remove the if you have a short ram intake or your stock airbox and all that. Throttle body if you can. I'm gonna try and do it without it, and your strut bar if it gets in the way. So I'll go ahead and tackle that, and I'll show you when I get it out. Okay, so I got my intake out, and from here you basically have two options. Now right there's your throttle body. Right underneath it you see that little I don't even know what to call it, but it looks like a little plug with a bump on it. That's your EGR, and you're gonna want to take that plug out right there, and there's two bolts. Should be a 10 or 12. Now your options at this point are take out the throttle body or take out the whole manifold. I'm gonna try and do it without doing either. You can see right where I'm shining the light on, there's the bolt right there. So let's try and get that out. I'm gonna use just a normal ratchet. Alrighty guys, so well, I guess we'll start here. I was trying to take out clean my EGR valve, which is located under the manifold. Took out the throttle body, intake, tried a ton of different wrenches, all different angles, tried it from the bottom of the car, still couldn't get it. So I've resorted to my last option, taking out the manifold. Right now I got the fuel rail and all the wire harness just pushed off to the side. I'm gonna try and just go one by one, move brackets out the way, see where the bolts are. Of course, I've never done this before, so I'm just learning as I go. Biggest fear is that I gotta remember how all this goes back together. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting, but I only got today to do it, and then a little bit of tomorrow morning. So wish me luck, guys. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you a couple of the bolts that I had a problem with. Of course, you got bolt right there, and they just go along the back side of the motor. That's really easy to get to. But you're gonna have three that are really difficult to get to. That's one right down there. Number two is under this pipe. Number three is under this pipe, your last pipe. The trick to get them in is to use a long socket and to go from underneath. Okay, you see all that? So that's how you have to get it. Took me about an hour to figure that out, because I started thinking, you know, Mazda wouldn't do it like that so that you can't get the bolt at all. But anyways, that's how you get that bolt out, those two out, and yep. So I'm just gonna keep going. Okay guys, I think this is like day 3. Trying to get this ERG valve out. It's went from trying to get the throttle body, I got the throttle body intake out, bumper off, and now I got this thing jacked up as high as it'll go for a lowered car. And I started taking off all the wiring, the fuel rail, all kinds of just odds and end parts on top of it. And I couldn't figure out why it would not come out. So I looked at some pictures online of just a Mazda Protege 2-liter engine, and then I saw in the back there's a bracket right underneath the intake manifold. So I'm going to show you that. One second. Okay, so that's the bracket right there, and there's also a bolt right there, and it goes up. right there. Okay, so those are the bolts that you have to get out right in the middle of the screen to get the intake out, and it's been a pretty big challenge. I've actually I couldn't get them from the top, so what I had to use was this. It's a I want to say 24-inch bar, and it's 14mm bolts. I used just a deep socket on the end of this with an adapter. Well guys, we did it. It's out, and I don't know how we did. Well, I went ahead and, put my finger down here at the bottom of the bottom half of the intake, and I get this thick sludge here. I don't think that's good, so I'm gonna clean that out. Yeah, I'm sure that's not good. And then on the back here, I left this pipe, the EGR pipe, connected. There's your EGR valve. That's what we've been fighting for. That's where the bracket goes that I was telling you about earlier. So now I'll go ahead and clean that, and then I'll probably do the VTCS Delete, which is this. I think I can delete those two on the bottom there, and tomorrow I'll install. That's the scary part, because I gotta remember how all of this goes back in. I got wire harness everywhere. I've got kinds of random pipes and throttle body linkage and vacuum pipes. Alright, so yeah, this has been by far the hardest thing I've had to do. I'm hoping my brother will give me that Honda Accord over there so that I can have a car to drive for the rest of the week, because I can't do this in one day. I'm not a mechanic. Okay guys, so I got the top half of my intake manifold here, and what we have right here, those are the VTCS. I forgot what that stands for, but yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete these. It's a popular mod on our cars and the Proteges. This is okay to delete. They'll give you a little extra power. But on the other side here, with the, what is this, the top half, the bottom half of the intake manifold, these are your VTIS right here. You don't want to delete those valves, because those, if you take them out, you're gonna have low end torque. You're gonna be losing low end torque. Apparently it's fine if you're going turbo, and you can even port and polish that out. But for like a naturally aspirated car like mine, it would just end up hurting me. So I'll do this, remove the VTCS for now, and yeah, just clean it out with some, I got a carb cleaner, and then I'm gonna use B12 Chem as well. The throttle body cleaner, this stuff right here, works really good. So I'd suggest that if you have it. Oh, and I gotta clean out the EGR valve. That's the whole reason we did this. Wow, forgot about that. Yeah, but I gotta do that too.
People live close to the earth and the sky. Free your body and your mind.
So here we have the EGR valve. There's 4 screws holding it in. Take those out, and then you have this little valve that opens in and out. And you're just going to want to clean inside these 2 holes right there. Make sure you get that as clean as possible, and screw it back together, and you're pretty much done. Hey guys, so I just finished cleaning basically everything that belonged to the manifold. I got the top half of the manifold, the bottom half, throttle body, EGR valve. I just used compressed air and carb cleaner, as well as B12 chem. You know, just keeping track of all my bolts and everything, everything from bumper brackets, and I got the pipe too for my EGR. I ended up, once I got the bottom throttle body out, it came off nice and easy. So I'm gonna put the bottom throttle body in, and then I'll put the pipe for the EGR. As you saw, I did my VTCS Delete, and you can see how just completely filthy these valves were. And the problem why a lot of people delete these is because not only does it free up a little extra power, horsepower, but these screws can fall off, you know, if they're not, I mean, they're just little small Phillips heads, you know, barely any thread to them. So it's a good idea to, if you're not going to delete it, at least, you know, unscrew them, do a little Loctite, and screw them back in. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Next thing you're going to see is me installing it. Sorry the video was so long, but I still got a little more to go. And hopefully get this car back on the road soon. Okay guys, so I just finished painting up the intake manifolds. I used VHT Wrinkle Plus. It's made for high heat. It's let me see, it says 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what it's good for. Gives you a wrinkle finish, and it's a durable coat. Blah blah blah, etc., etc. So it does actually work really good. I love the finish. I got this idea off like one of the guys on the Mazda 247 page. Just checking out some pictures. I knew I wanted to paint it, and I kind of wanted to do black, but I wanted like the wrinkle finish, you know, it gives like a little bit of a rough texture, since you can't really get the part like perfect, you know. This was $9. Came up with a great finish. Just put 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of this, and then it's all set to go back in. A little tip for you: I like to leave the can out in the sun while the part's drying. That way the can gets nice and warm and gives you a more even coating. Sprays out a lot better. So that's just a little quick tip. Was thinking about powder coating the valve, the throttle body, the same color as the valve color, which is like that teal. I'm gonna do that another day. If not, I might just do it black like this. Either way, to paint this, it took half a can. So you know, you can do other parts, and like I like to save all my cans up here. Alright guys, so it's all done. I got the manifold back in there. Let me see if I can get a light. There you go. I know it's a bit of a mess with all these wires. I'd really like to do a wire tuck one of these days. But there's the manifold. It's kind of sad, you can't really see the black come through, but it's a really nice durable paint job. I'd say if you can't powder coat and you don't have an oven big enough to do the manifold, definitely do the VHT Wrinkle Plus. That's a pretty good product. I like that one. But yeah, so I had some problems starting it up and I couldn't figure out why, so I checked my wiring again. Turns out the EGR wasn't plugged in, the wire for that, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and start it and cross my fingers that it works. That's weird. I guess I gotta check some other stuff now because it didn't start up. It just revs up to like 2,000 RPMs and then it just dies immediately. I was really hoping that was it, so now I gotta check out some other stuff. Alright guys, so what I basically did was I plugged in the EGR and it wouldn't start up. So I had to do a vacuum leak test. That was my next thing. I knew it had to be the vacuum. It just sucks because it means I did something wrong. So I took a candle, had someone start the car, and I blew out the candle, and you know, you'll see the smoke from the candle. It got sucked right into the intake manifold gasket, which tells me intake manifold gasket's bad. Now I make my own gaskets. I use the same stuff they use. I made one for the throttle body and other parts in the car, I can't remember. But basically, yeah, I was saying, you know, my gasket's good, shouldn't be a problem. But then I remembered I didn't scrape all of the old gasket off. I got lazy. So now I have to do more work because I got lazy. So that must be creating like just enough gap to create a vacuum leak. So I went over to AutoZone for $7. I got this Felpro Gaskets Professionals Trust. And the thing that sucks about it too, it's made out of the same stuff that I made my gasket from. I mean, it's pretty much identical. So all I really need to do is take the old gasket off the intake manifold and I'll throw the new one on. It was only $7. Just sucks. I had everything laid out. I mean, I got every bolt in there. Now I gotta take off the fuel rail, throttle body. I'm gonna try and do it for just taking off the top intake. Alright, well at least I got the day to do this. Okay, so as you guys can see, got the manifold out for the second time. You can see there's still a lot of the old gasket is left on here. That's because I was lazy and I just got lazy. There's no reason for that, really. So I'm using just a chisel, very gently scraping it off, because this gasket is really hard to get off. A razor won't do it. So I'm just using this and gently tapping it with a hammer, working my way around. Make sure if you're doing this, do not gouge the metal. Don't force it at all, because this is your mating surface. You need this smooth as possible for the new gasket. Alright guys, I got everything back in. Changed the gasket out. Nothing left to do is start her up. Guess that was a vacuum leak I was having. Let's see. Sweet! So glad it's running. Now I just gotta throw some coolant in there because I spilled a little bit of that. We'll be all set to go, guys. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, check this out. This is hilarious. So, I got the car up and running, right? And I'm driving, and the car's acting funny, and it's idling weird, and I'm like, this is ridiculous, you know? I took this whole engine apart. Not really, but I took the intake apart to clean this thing. And I'm still having a rough idle. I'm like, I can't believe this. Something's not right. So I take it to AutoZone, and they do a code on it, and it said barometric pressure sensor. So that's this thing right here. So I basically just followed this line. I'm like, okay, that goes there, that goes there, and then I pull this out, and it's a undone hose that I haven't attached to the car yet, and it goes underneath this actuator for the VTCS. So it's pretty funny because like I saw that there was a extra pipe down there, and I didn't know what it was for, so I just plugged it with the screw. Now I know that's what that's for. So I'm feeling pretty stupid here, but it's important to know that your exhaust gases come out the header here, travel through the EGR pipe all around to your EGR valve. The valve is connected to, I believe, a solenoid or a vacuum hose, which comes all the way back through the manifold onto this side, which you have your EGR, I think they call it EGR boost valve or something like that. I can't quite remember, but anyways, so this also works with the EGR. So hopefully I'll plug that in, problem will be fixed, fingers crossed.